What if I told you you could walk 30 minutes outside a Henderson neighborhood and experience rock art from native cultures dating 3,000 years ago? Well, follow me and my family as the Nevada Conservation League invites you to explore one of Nevada's greatest cultural and environmental treasures, Sloan Canyon National Conservation Area. We're going to show you some of the highlights and then take you on a personal tour of Petroglyph Canyon and Trail to see what makes this place so unique. Sloan Canyon is over 48,000 acres, with over 14,000 acres of North McCullough Wilderness contained within it. Sloan Canyon was designated a National Conservation Area in 2002 due to the vast number of ancient Native American petroglyphs that are found there. The area boasts over 1,700 pieces of rock art from indigenous cultures that range in age from 3000 BC to the early 19th century. Sloan Canyon is unique for its geology, ecology, and amazing scenic views. As an outdoor recreation site, one of the things that immediately stands out about Sloan Canyon is how close it is to the city. The trailheads are located inside neighborhoods, off main streets, and inside city parks, making this outdoor destination perfect for families and city dwellers who have trouble reaching remote parks and trails. Hiking isn't the only thing to do. Depending on the trail you're visiting, there are a variety of activities for you to enjoy. These include hiking, biking, horseback riding, and on select trails, you can bring your dog along to explore with you. Some of the notable hikes include McCullough Hills. If you're looking for a quick place to take the family, this is one of the most accessible and recommended trails. Located just off Horizon Parkway and Highway 95, McCullough Hills is an easy hike that features readily available parking. Restrooms are available and signage is there to help navigate your way safely. These trails are built and maintained through funding from the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act. This dirt trail is accessible for mountain bikes, horses, and hikers. McCullough Hills is a fun and easy 5-mile hike in the conservation area. The next recommended trail is located directly within Anthem Hills Park, a beautiful, fully equipped park with amazing views of the city. It is a perfect example of bringing outdoor recreation and environmental conservation together. Anthem Hills Trail is an 11.6-mile paved trail that can take 6.5 hours on foot. The trail is handicap accessible and is great for biking or walking the dogs. While visiting this trail, we learned that activities such as camping and shooting are not allowed anywhere in Sloan Canyon. Also, off-road and motorized vehicles are prohibited from operating anywhere in the conservation area. We took some time to explore and observed a unique geology that reveals the volcanic origins of the area. Coming back down, we discovered the trailhead offers restrooms and a great little picnic area. Amongst all of the trails, the most iconic is the Petroglyph Canyon. This trailhead is located inside Henderson's Inspirada neighborhood. You'll find it just past the Sloan Canyon Visitor Contact Station. The trailhead comes equipped with restrooms and hand wash stations. However, at the time of filming, the visitor center was under renovations. Petroglyph Canyon Trail is a day-use area, so if you and the family are going to come out and visit, make sure it's between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Parking is really limited, so make sure you get here early or you might be parking down the street. Petroglyph Canyon Trail is a 4.4-mile, heavily trafficked loop with 564 feet in elevation changes. The trail's difficulty is labeled as moderate on all trails, and we found that to be pretty accurate. It's always important to check out the map and make a plan before going on a hike. The Petroglyph Trail leads straight out until it meets a loop. At the fork in the road, you can choose to stay left on Petroglyph Trail or go right on Cowboy Trail. We're going to go left at the fork in the road, and we're going to take the Petroglyph Trail all the way around to the back. This is where Petroglyph Gallery is going to be.
After we take a look, we'll go ahead and finish our loop on the Cowboy Trail, meet right back here at the beginning, where we'll go right back to the parking lot.
So after convincing my family to be my camera crew, we packed up and we're on our way. You should know, due to the sensitivity of the site, there are no dogs, bikes, or motorized vehicles allowed on the trail. It might not look like it from here, but this area is full of historic relics, indigenous art, and fossils that we don't want to see ruined. Be respectful. The first part of this trip is a long and relatively relaxing stroll. We have to hike about a mile until we start getting down into the canyon. Finally, we reached the entrance to the canyon. There's a really well-made rock staircase that leads you down, but still, I would recommend watching your step. Projects just like these stairs are done by teams of volunteers, and we want to thank them for coming out and making this trail more accessible. At this point, you'll find some more signage to direct you to Petroglyph Trail, so you know you're headed in the right direction. We followed the path deeper into the canyon. You can see the walls climbing higher as we got closer to Petroglyph Gallery. As I pointed out earlier, this trail is pretty easy, but even on a day as nice as this, it was at this point in the hike I realized I wasn't wearing sunscreen. Always use UV protection when outdoors. Around this corner, we encountered the fork in the road that we knew was coming.
So this is Cowboy Trail. You could go off to the right and go up that way. And then over here to our left, we have Petroglyph Trail. So we're gonna go ahead and take a left right here.
I'm sure you're wondering why we decided to go left and not right when we planned our route for this hike. Well, there are a couple of reasons. One, Cowboy Trail is an elevated climb that can be harder going up than down. And the second reason is because we're gonna run into some dry waterfalls up ahead that can be pretty slick. As you'll see, this makes it a lot safer climbing up the dry waterfalls than attempting to scramble down them.
So we're about halfway through our hike here at the Petroglyph Canyon and Sloan Canyon, and the camera crew and I decided that we were going to stop and grab a little snack. It's important to stay hydrated, bring something to eat on the trail. Team, you want to say hi?
Hi.
While enjoying the outdoors, remember to leave no trace. It's important that you carry in and carry out your trash. And this includes biodegradables like fruit peels and eggshells. Also, always stay on the trail. People work hard to build and maintain these trails to prevent the cultural relics and wilderness from being damaged. The wildlife, rocks, and plants belong where you found them. So please, be respectful and don't disturb them.
So we're here at the first dry waterfall. When you've reached this spot, you know that you're getting into the canyon trail. Now, you can climb up and go through, but we're gonna choose to take the trail on the left-hand side. It's safer, and you know, we're always about taking the trail whenever you can.
Yeah.
So, let's go on, Ed. Wow, when you get up here, you get this great view.
Wow. That's really pretty.
After climbing up our first waterfall, we were pretty excited for what was up ahead. As I pointed out earlier, this trail is pretty easy, but even on a day as nice as this, it was at this point in the hike I realized I wasn't wearing sunscreen. Always use UV protection when outdoors.
All right, so we were told that the petroglyphs are just past these last sets of waterfalls, and we will be in the canyon. Can't wait to get our first look at some petroglyphs.
Can't wait.
Looking at the dry waterfalls from here, you can really see where water and weathering makes the rock so smooth and difficult to climb. And here, you can see what it looks like to slip on one of these dry waterfalls. Waterfall 3 is a little easier to navigate up, and by now, hopefully you really start to get the hang of it. Up next is Waterfall 4. When you get here, you can follow the kid and take the hard way to the left, or just follow me and take the easy way to the right. So this is the fifth and final waterfall before you get to Petroglyph Gallery. And as you can see, it's a little tricky. Shortly after climbing this though, we noticed a slightly easier path further off to the left. If you're interested, you can check it out. After getting over the waterfalls, we continued to follow the trail until we noticed something unique on the rocks. At first it was one or two petroglyphs, but soon it became clear that we were standing within a cultural treasure trove of native art. Petroglyphs line the canyon walls with ancient depictions of plants, animals, and people.
Don't touch.
We were blown away by the artwork placed here thousands of years ago by indigenous communities. While observing the various images placed throughout the gallery, we were lucky to encounter someone who could tell us a little bit more about the amazing rock art we were looking at.
My name is Chris, and I'm just a volunteer with Friends of Sloan Canyon.
Oh wow, you guys are responsible for a lot of the work that gets done up here.
Well, that's mainly BLM. We just kind of help out and help to kind of educate people and check people in and just kind of help them keep track of how many people are coming and going.
Cool.
So,
Well, this is her first time here. Could you
Okay.
tell us a little bit about what's going on?
absolutely. Well, this is the Petroglyph Gallery. So starting from here, you can see two bighorn sheep right up here on this first rock, down to this curve. There, the geologists have categorized about 1,700 petroglyphs that are mainly on the west side of the canyon wall, and they were put here by the Paiute Indians or Colorado Plateau Indians. They don't think the Anasazis came this far west.
Okay.
So these are 1,000 to about 1,200 years old.
Wow.
And we have different types of petroglyphs. They are presentational, are two categories of anthropomorphic. That is going to be anything that looks like a human image. So it could be a hand or a full body, which you'll see in here.
Okay.
Or they're zoomorphic, that will look like an animal. The bighorn sheep is the most common.
All right.
And you'll see snakes, lizards, tortoises, that type of thing in here.
Awesome.
So the other kind of petroglyphs that they have categorized are called abstract. So they have ones that are anything that involves straight lines or angled lines are called rectilinear. And then you'll find some that have wandering lines, circles that meander around. Those are just called abstract or curvilinear.
Okay.
So those are just the different kinds of petroglyphs in the area.
Do we know what they were used for?
Well, the archaeologists really don't know what they represent. They only can tell you they think it could have to do with spiritual or religious activity in parts of their life, or it could even be domestic archaeology. So things that happened in their daily life of hunting and gathering, and the chores that they would do throughout the day. Wow. One that has a horse and a rider.
Really?
Which means that's the baby petroglyph. That's about 200 years old, and that represents first contact with Europeans.
So those are probably Spanish.
So yeah,
colonists.
so probably 1775 to 1825 for that one. So that's the new one.
And do we think that a lot of these came around that time? Or?
Most of these are 1,000 to 1,200 years old. So if you're interested, I can show you two things that are called petroforms. And petroforms are using rocks to structure things that look like things that are in their natural environment. Would you like me to show you those?
Definitely.
My volunteers are going to love it. So if you come right up here, and now I need you to turn around and look up onto this ridge, and you see the two rocks that stick out this way? Okay, if you look, those are desert tortoises because they both have shells right behind their heads.
So as you were walking down here, you would know to look up and see that.
You'd have to know to see that. If you're coming from the south, it is just a pile of rocks. You would never know what those are.
I've never heard of that. What's the term for that?
It's petroforms.
Petroform.
Yeah.
We were humbled by the opportunity to see and hear so much about the native people of Sloan Canyon. These relics tell the story of a thriving culture that deserves respect and recognition. There's a lot of mystery surrounding these indigenous communities, and we still have a lot to learn from clues left behind in everything from their petroglyphs, petroforms, calendars, and so much more.
What guidance you would give my volunteers if they were going to come up here?
Well, just mainly come and relax and enjoy the historical significance of these, and stay in the wash. And we don't want anybody to touch them because hand oil will degrade them. These will be eventually gone, you know, in centuries ahead. So we want to preserve them as best we can for the enjoyment of everybody between now and then. So yeah, just stay in the wash. Don't bring animals in to protect the sheep as well, and just relax and have a good time.
Take in this cultural resource that we have here.
Yeah, it's rare that you have something this historically significant that's a short drive from such a large population center. You usually have to drive for hours and hours to find something like this.
It's incredible driving through a neighborhood and then pulling out, and now we have...
An hour later, you're a 1,000-year-old petroglyph.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Not expecting that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you giving us a brief tour and explaining everything here. So Nat, we just left Petroglyph Trail. What'd you think?
Well, it was really fun.
Yeah, Petroglyph Canyon had a lot to offer, right?
Yeah, it was really cool. I like it.
We got super lucky. We ran into Chris. Yeah, friends of Sloan Canyon, always out here, always willing to educate people.
Yeah, I'd be really excited to come down here again.
Me too. And we're gonna finish up the rest of this hike by taking the rest of the loop on the Cowboy Trail. We're gonna meet back up on the main Petroglyph Trail, and it's gonna take us right back to the parking lot.
So we continued making our way out of the canyon. And just as we were expecting, we ran into the Cowboy Trail marker, and we went ahead and followed it around to the right. Hiking back on the winding trail gives you a completely different view of Sloan Canyon Conservation Area. Large Mojave yuccas are visible along the rocky mountainous walls, and the views just kept getting better. We trudged up what looked like to be the last big hill of the hike, and when we finally got to the top, we couldn't believe what greeted us. To our surprise, we were met by a full view of the Las Vegas Valley. If the petroglyphs weren't reason enough to take this hike, this view alone justifies coming out with the family and spending the day outdoors.
That was a great view. We just made it all the way down that switchback. It was pretty steep, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, we saw like a lizard too on the way.
Definitely. Really happy that we decided to go left at the fork in the road, because coming down this switchback, coming down Cowboy Trail was a lot easier than going up it would have been.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up, and almost there. So we're finishing up Cowboy Trail. We're right back where we started at the fork in the road. This is where we had our first choice to go left or right. And if you look, we're right back to our sign. So we know we're going the right way.
In addition to this hike, we showed you a glimpse of McCullough Hills and Anthem Park trails. But to truly appreciate Sloan Canyon, you have to come out here and see it for yourself. Once you do, you'll see how important it is that we continue fighting to conserve our public lands and preserve the culture of the native people who this land belongs to. We encourage you to find a way to get involved, whether that be volunteering, signing a petition, or spreading awareness in the community. Find a way for you to take action.
So we made it down safely from Petroglyph Canyon Trail. Saw some really cool stuff, had some fun along the way.
Yeah, it was kind of hard, but the end was all fun.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this hike. Hopefully we're able to show you more of Nevada, more of our amazing environment, and thanks for hanging out with NCL.